Coming up in our brief for today, we will tell you about the lost sons of Ghana playing for other countries in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Graphic Online has counted 9 players with Ghanaian origin playing for other countries. It is known unofficially as obey before complain or pay now, argue later. That is a legal provision which obliged people dissatisfied with the tax assessment by the Ghana Revenue Authority to pay 30% of the tax before challenging it. Today, the Supreme Court has affirmed that provision. In politics, court affirms Martin Adjei-Mensah Korsah's election as MPP MP for Techiman South. Why frozen chicken can contribute to obesity, a professor explains. We bring you excerpts of PwC's post-2022 budget forum, and we will also tell you about the latest at the Manhyia Hospital verbal assault incident. A former justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Stephen Alanbrobe, is speaking about the 1992 Constitution and says Rawlings had no influence on members of the Consultative Assembly that drafted the Constitution. The Graphic Grader Real Estate Experience 2022 starts tomorrow, and we have a brief on the sidelines from our coverage of the World Cup in Qatar for you. Welcome to Graphic Online's News in Brief. It has been an exciting World Cup campaign for Ghana at the ongoing Qatar 2022, considering that optimism was not very high among many people ahead of the Mundial. Aside the proud Ghanaian players wearing the national jersey in the Black Stars, flying the flag of Ghana high in football's highest competition in the world, there are other players with Ghanaian origin playing for other nations in Qatar. Graphic Online has counted at least 9 of those lost sons. USA, Spain, Wales, Belgium, Qatar, Netherlands, and Canada are those who have the said players with roots to Ghana. Looking away from only the Ghanaian players, there is an African player in many other teams playing in the Qatar World Cup. Out of the total of 32 teams that are in Qatar, 40 teams have at least one player of African origin in their squad. Germany, France, Qatar, Belgium, Switzerland, and Portugal are those who have the most. For the 9 Ghanaians playing for other countries, they are Yunus Musa for USA, Nico Williams for Spain, Ethan Ampadu for Wales, Jeremy Doku for Belgium, Mohamed Muntari for Qatar, Jeremy Frimpong for Netherlands, Memphis Depay also for the Netherlands, and Cody Gakpo, said to be from Jelukope in the Volta region, also playing for the Netherlands. The last one is Rishi Lai for Canada. And in court today at the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court affirmed a legal provision which obliged people dissatisfied with the tax assessment by the Ghana Revenue Authority to pay 30% of the tax before challenging it. In a unanimous decision, a 7-member panel of the Apex Court dismissed a suit challenging the constitutionality of the said provision. Known unofficially as the Obey Before Complain or Pay Now, Argue Later, Section 42(5)(b) of the Revenue Administration Act of 2016, that is Act 915, stipulates that before someone can challenge a tax decision by the GRA, the person must pay all outstanding taxes, including 30% of the tax in dispute. What this means is that the GRA will not entertain any challenge to its decision for an entity to pay certain taxes unless that entity had first complied with the provision of the Act 1915. Theophilus Tewia, the lawyer for the plaintiff, had this to say after the Supreme Court ruling today.
For me, it didn't meet my expectation.
Okay.
Argument that we are leaving before the court was that the pay now and argue later, which can be described as pay before you complain. That's an infringement of the constitutional right, but the court thinks otherwise. What it means is that the GRA will still ask people to pay the 30%, and that's likely have to have a stifling effect on access to the court and also have access to the administrative procedure. We don't have the full judgment here, so we'll wait and take instruction from our clients as to whether we have to go to the next level in that regard. But for now, we are not, didn't meet expectations.
And still in court, the Wenchi High Court has affirmed the declaration of the new Patriotic Party Member of Parliament for Techiman South, Martin Adjei-Mensah Korsah, as the winner of the 2022 parliamentary election. Emmanuel Edujamra, Our correspondent in the Bono, Ahafo and Bono East regions reports that the court in a ruling today in Wenchi awarded a total cost of 100,000 Ghana cedis against the petitioners. The cost against the petitioner is to be shared 50,000 cedis each to the Electoral Commission and Martin Adjei-Mensah Korsah. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has said it has been vindicated by the ruling, while the NPP has also welcomed the judgment. In health, do you know that eating frozen chicken can contribute to obesity? Take a listen to Professor Saa Dito, an agricultural and rural development economist with special interest in promotion of smallholder agric, especially in relation to food and nutrition security.
Hormones that they use to quicken the chicken into your own body, and you end up probably increasing your weight without really realizing that that is dangerous, and that has been a big problem. And we know that most of the frozen chicken that we actually import, they keep it over a long period of time, sometimes over a year, many years before it even comes. So you get it frozen for a very long time and it comes. So it's not actually coming fresh. That is one big problem. In any case, you realize that chicken that is normal chicken that they are raising, most of it is the same variety.
And from that frozen chicken and obesity story, let's go to Qatar and find out what our reporter Kweku Zorek has for us today as part of Graphic Online's coverage of the World Cup.
So we are at the National Museum of Qatar, and there's a particular exhibition going on. This is an exhibition of cars or vehicles owned by the state of Qatar, and it's supposed to be a sneak peek into the National Auto Museum. So currently there are 3 vehicles on display, and we'll be heading inside to check out those vehicles. And you have behind me, it's a transparent vehicle. It's a Pontiac vehicle. It's one of, the nickname is the Ghost Car. It's one of the first transparent vehicles to have ever been made. And the final car is the red one. You can't miss it. It's a head turner. It's a Ferrari GT with the name Berlinetta. Lots of the tourists that we spoke to here in central Doha would not go on the record, aside a Nigerian tourist who explains to us that she read the same advisories about modest dressing and picked a wardrobe that would meet those restrictions.
Okay, the dressing modest is it's not that strict as I expected. I was expecting that once you wear something like shorts, something like showing your body, you get arrested. But I've been seeing people around, guys wearing shorts and girls wearing shorts, so it's not as strict as I expected for coming here.
Okay, does that mean that you'll be changing your wardrobe when you go back to the hotel? Because some of the things they told us, that's not what we are seeing.
No, because all the clothes I came with actually covers my whole body, so I cannot change anything again.
But some of the other tourists, mostly from Asia and Europe, who would not go on the record, told us that given the 30-degree heat that they expected in Qatar, they have no choice than to wear shorts that are above the knees and at times sleeveless clothing. This has been Kweku Zorek reporting from the National Museum of Qatar in Doha.
And in economics today, PricewaterhouseCoopers held a post-2023 budget forum in Accra, and here are some excerpts from the event.
So how did we perform last year or in 2022, and what do we expect to do going into the future? So including oil, we expect, or we had grown by about 4.0% of GDP. We expect that going into 2023, our growth inclusive of oil should be about 2.8. So if you are drawing your budget, ignoring inflation, and you are placing it at about 10%, then the question we need to ask is that what magical things are you going to do to go far in excess of what the economy expects to do?
We only go to the international market on strategic basis to borrow to do economic projects like the Temamoto Way that will pay for itself, or to put a bridge on the affirmed plains. Many years, all those people are affirmed plains, and I travel to affirmed plains. You wait for hours to get a ferry to cross, and that place is an agriculture area that if government actually borrowed and put a bridge there and invested in irrigation there using the Volta River, that could be a food basket. For such things, we could go to the international market and borrow, and we know that we are going to pay it back. But to borrow and to use to support budget and for consumption, we'll find ourselves in another crisis again in a few years to come.
From Accra, we take you to Kumasi and to the Manhyia District Hospital, where the nurse and the doctor at the center of the verbal attack issue are receiving psychological support. The two have been given some days of duty to enable them recover from the incident.
We are also taking measures to report this case to the police because the lady has been abused, and then it's not just sacking of the director, but we're also reporting it to the police. So if all legal actions can be taken against him.
What exactly are you reporting to the police?
Abuse, verbal abuse, and assault.
And what are you seeking?
What the law will prescribe when somebody is abused.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Medical Association has raised concerns about the sharing of the doctor's pictures on social media. According to the GMA, it will subject the said doctor to emotional trauma and also has the possibility to jeopardize her career. And contrary to the perception that the Provisional National Defense Council, that is the PNDC, and the former President Jerry John Rawlings might have had a greater influence on members of the Consultative Assembly that drafted the 1992 Constitution, hence its framers giving excessive powers to presidents under the Fourth Republic, a former Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Stephen Alan Brobe, said that was not the case. Former Justice Brobe, who was the chairman of the Legal and Drafting Committee of the Consultative Assembly, stated unequivocally that the PNDC gave the members a free hand to operate. The former justice, who was also a former Chief Justice of the Gambia, revealed this when he took his turn to make a presentation on local government, chieftaincy and the Constitution at the Institute of Economic Affairs Seminar Series on Constitutional Review in Accra. And before we go, the Graphic Grader Real Estate Experience 2022 starts tomorrow. This is the Accra version of the Housing Fair, which is taking place at the Silver Star Tower at Airport City. The 3-day event is from December 1st to 3rd, and it starts at 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
It's that time of the year again. Graphic Communications Group Limited and Ghana Real Estate Developers Association GREDA is bringing to you the solutions to your housing needs with the Real Estate Experience 2022 theme: home ownership through collaborative efforts of individuals, institutions, and industry, powered by Republic Bank, from the 1st to the 3rd of December 2022 at the Silver Star Tower, Airport City, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. Everything you ever need at a great discount and deals from different sorts of houses, apartments and verified lands, home furniture, decor pieces and flowers, kitchen and bathroom wares, security and property management. Oh wow! You simply can't miss out on this once in a lifetime opportunity. Media partners: Graphic Online, TV3, 3FM, Akoma FM. For more information, call 0242 202447 or 0507 067988.
Thank you for watching. For more news, please visit our website graphic.com.gh or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH. I am Enoch Dafa Frimpong.
Subscribe now.